Hater.
Welcome back to Plot Off the Press. A little bit of an abrupt goodbye on the last one, but you're welcome because that movie sucked. Today,
movie.
I'll shit talking in this one too. So on our second venture today, we're doing our other 80s movie, 1983 movie, The Outsiders. Again, another killer cast. I mean, just pretty amazing. Rob Lowe, Thomas Howell, Matt Dillon, Ralph Macchio, Patrick Swayze, Emilio Estevez, fucking Tom Cruise.
Macchio?
I was waiting on you to...
Was it Ralph Macchio? Was he like some sort of Italian coffee drink?
Yeah, you sprinkle milk on top of them.
Yeah. And I love how you started with Rob Lowe of all people. It's like, I mean, there's nothing.
I was like,
it was the first time I just happened to remember.
Yeah, Rob Lowe's got 4 lines in the movie. I mean,
Rob Lowe, no, he's his brother. He talks a lot. Diane Lane, fucking Tom Cruise. Why?
The man.
Just to irritate you.
Yeah, just to irritate me. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola. The guy who makes all the wine.
Right there.
He makes all the wine, right?
Yeah. Among other things, among other like Oscar-nominated and winning movies.
Oh yeah,
this
Apocalypse Now, Godfather, blah 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 blah. Anyway, so IMDb gives this one a 7.1 out of 10. A little bit lower than The Stand By Me. And I would just say that I don't agree with that. That's still too high. This one's a 5. It's a little bit more enjoyable than Stand By Me by like a long ways. I really enjoyed how they were all very willing to stab people at very short notice. Seemed like every scene, Emilio Estevez, he's got the knife out or he's broken a bottle. He's ready to stab a motherfucker like right now.
There's that, and then the other guys too. They didn't hesitate. It's like he pulled a knife on us. Let's go drown one of the motherfuckers. Like what?
Yeah.
What kind of fucking?
There's nothing else to do in their town, I think.
I don't know any group of jocks that were ready to just like drive around and go drown a guy.
I mean, maybe, but
I've never been that drunk before.
Yeah, what place is this from too? Because I mean, there was just either you had money or you didn't. There's no
in between.
I kind of assumed it was Chicago because they were talking about North Side and South Side. I kind of just assumed that kind of area, but I don't know.
It didn't seem very, unless they were out in Aurora or something like that back in the 50s, it didn't seem very metropolis.
According to the storyline, it's Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1965.
No, that sounds about right. There we go. That would be the reason why. Did we see any black people in this movie? I mean, come on. That's not fucking...
No.
No, because...
what about you? What are you ranking it?
I did a 4.5. And that's just for the cast. Because the cast was good. Actually, the 4.5 is just for Patrick Swayze.
I was going to say, Peace Ways.
Yeah,
the movie would have been better if he was in it more.
I mean, he did jump over the fence like all like gymnastic-like near the ends.
I think he should have been the one to do the backflip off the car.
Well, that's where you had Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise actually landed and busted his head open, and that's why he looks like that.
Well, and I was reading about the movie, and
that's just for you, Taylor.
I guess Patrick Swayze had taught Tom Cruise how to do the backflip or whatever, and then before they shot the scene, Tom Cruise went to the director or whatever and was like, "I don't know if I can do it. I ate too much at lunch. Like, I'm like nervous about it." And
it's a real bitch ass Tom Cruise move.
And then the director, whoever it was he was talking to, was
Coppola.
He said, "Well, would you feel
like,
better?"
Here, let my scientific God do it for me.
Well, he said, "Would you feel better if you threw up?" And he was like, "Yeah." So he made him eat 2 raw eggs. He threw up, and then he was fine, and he could flip just fine. So Tom Cruise, he did what he was supposed to do.
Raw egg eating.
Carter, what about you?
I mean, it's a pretty bad movie. It's pretty boring. I guess I'll agree with you on the 5. I mean, like, at least a little bit more happens in this movie than the other movie we did earlier today.
Yeah, there seemed to be a decent plot here, or decent enough. They spent too much time in the abandoned church, but other than that, I like the whole fight scene at the end. I kind of wish it'd gone a little further.
Yeah, I think the same guy that choreographed all the fighting in The Matrix did that. So yeah, those sides and the rain was actually water. So yeah, so that was authentic. They didn't use like Gatorade or none of that bullshit like Hollywood movie magic. It was real water. And the fire, of course, Tom Cruise built that. That's why it looks so good.
I had a real flashback to Anchorman when they have the fight between the news stations. That's what the beginning of this fight felt like.
Yeah, they just no one had a harpoon or a Triton or a grenade or anything like that. But yeah,
a grenade. Where did you get that?
I don't know. You should really lay low though. But it doesn't. I mean, at no point in time did I give a fuck about any of these characters. I mean, like, I didn't give a fuck that Ralph Macchio got burned. I didn't give a fuck that C. Thomas Howell saved the children. I really didn't give a fuck about Dally. I mean, call him Dallas. Please stop calling him Dally. That just sounds so fucking weird. I didn't give a fuck about him. And then, again, although things happen in this movie, it just... shit.
So who's your favorite character, then?
I mean, there's not really. I mean, I guess, Pony Boy is the main character, so I mean, maybe, but, Johnny's gets all in, deep, but I mean, there's really, everybody else, though, really doesn't have too much role. I mean, like, Diane Lane was really good in it for the 5 seconds that she's in it. I mean, there's
I like Emilio.
I picked Emilio as well.
Two-bit.
I mean, he's, the comic relief, and then, I mean, he's eating a whole chocolate cake and drinking a beer. Like, it's just,
badass.
Yeah,
Okay.
I liked it.
Okay. I mean,
It definitely wasn't fucking Tom Cruise.
it definitely wasn't fucking Rob Lowe.
Oh, I will
No,
say,
it
Tom Cruise. Did y'all notice Tom Cruise, like, at the end when they're about to go fight? He's just, like, has this weird laugh that he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So you notice it there, but it's in every movie ever. He has a weird laugh in every movie.
But this one was like,
Really? Wow.
that's how it sounded.
Is that the Banshee call?
Like,
Ask Tom Cruise about it. That's what-
warriors come out to play.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it was all, like, nasally and, like,
No, The Warriors is a different movie.
yeah.
It was all nasally.
Yeah, it was really nasally.
Well, he's just eating 2 rolled eggs, so he's probably having trouble breathing or something. His diet.
That was just kind of annoying.
Well, there's a lot of things annoying in it.
So what do we think about our favorite scene then? Like, for me, it's the fight scene at the end.
Yeah.
Again, I wish it'd gone a little bit longer and a little bit more in depth, but
Let's see the only scene that it's really worth it. I mean, the drive-in scene, it just kind of introduces a couple people, and again, like you see, you don't see Diane Lane and her friend again when they're in the church.
why are all of these children such assholes? Like, every one of them is just a real douche piece of shit.
Because it's a woman wrote a book about 10 guys. I don't know. I have no idea. No, I love throwing the little women jabs. Just to see if she ever says anything. She never says shit.
I'm letting you have your fun.
I know, because it always is fun. I mean, even like the scene with the church. The whole time they're trying to save these kids from the church, and I'm going, was this building like an old barn from the 1820s? That was the worst looking church or school. It was a school. It was a shul, wasn't it?
Why was the bus there? I don't understand.
I don't know. So that, I mean, how do you have a school without even a parking lot? Okay, so there's that. So I'm going too far in that. I don't give a shit about when Ralph Macchio's in the hospital. I don't give a shit about when. I mean, the scene, I guess, when he first comes home and he's got the blonde hair and everyone shows up and he's drinking the cake with the beer. That was kind of fun because you got to see all, you got Peaceways in there and Emilio and C. Thomas Howell and then Rob.
You finally get to see Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, that was all right. But then.
And without a shirt on.
And then I tell you what, when Matt Dillon tries to do with his Rebel Without a Cause James Dean impression, losing his mind at the end, was so uncontrollably bad overacting at its finest. I mean, William Shatner would have given that 2 fucking thumbs down. Like, it was, he even punches the wall like, I can't take it no more. Like, what are you doing? Like, what is going on right now? He just snapped. He was just in the car talking about how tough he was. He was going to be tough like me. You're going to be tough like me. And then, like,
anybody named Dally isn't going to be that tough.
I mean, I guess, but it was just, I was kind of glad they shot him. It was like, thank God he didn't fucking have
I
to
don't
kill
have
him.
to hear him anymore.
Yes.
So Casey, what about you? Do you got any favorite scenes or anything?
Oh, the fight scene at the end.
Okay.
I was just good to see. I was still waiting for Peace Ways to rip the dude's throat out.
Oh, you're telling
Road
me.
style, baby.
Roadhouse.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Come on, Johnny.
All right, so let's jump then to casting. Are we changing anybody out? This is kind of a pretty amazing cast. If this cast couldn't pull it off, then I don't think anybody else would help.
Well, the only 2 characters I really didn't like were the 2 main ones.
Tony Boy and Johnny.
Yeah, so I recast them, and I just looked up like people that were kind of the same age, and I think they could do it. I don't know if they were famous at this time, but whatever. So for Ralph, I put Woody Harrelson because he can be a dirtbag, and like greaser dirtbag. I could feel it.
He had hair at the time too.
Yeah, he did have hair at the time. He would have just
greased it.
but he had blonde hair, so we would have had to dye it. No big deal. And then for the other guy, I did John Cusack.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I feel like it could work.
Yeah, this does road.
Because I, like you said, it's a great cast, but those 2 just weren't my favorite. I like everybody else.
What about you, Car? You changing some peeps?
I would change out all the greasers just because I have free time to do things. So let's start from the top. C. Thomas Howell. We replace him with Patrick Dempsey.
Okay.
Matt Dillon. Put Sean Penn in there.
As Dally.
As Dally.
As Dally.
Dallas. We'll call him Dallas. Ralph Macchiano.
Machio?
Is it?
It's Machio.
It's Machio.
I think it's Machio.
It's Machio.
Machio.
I thought it was
looking
a
at it.
macadamia seed.
Whatever,
It
doesn't matter.
doesn't matter because you're getting rid of them.
I know.
Right.
I know that. I'm just fucking making fun of you still.
Ralph M.
Ralph Espresso.
Sure.
We'll put him in there for Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
Now, after that, it gets a little bit tougher. I put Judge Nelson in for Emilio Estevez. I took out your Tom Cruise just because I know you want me to. Now, I can't really think of anything else, but when I tell you what he was in, you'll know, but you probably won't know him for the name. It's Michael Schofling. He's Jake from 16 Candles. He's the pretty boy with the Porsche.
Hold on.
Oh, okay. He's cute.
Yeah, you take out Tom Cruise and put in Michael Scho Schofling, something like that.
Shuffling?
Something like that.
Shuffling.
Sorry for fucking his name up, but
We love you.
I'm illiterate.
Shuffling.
Yeah, there you go. But if you put him in there for Tom Cruise, I think he'd fit in nice. Now here's the one that.
Yeah.
So we take out Rob Lowe.
He must be dead.
I took all of them out, and I don't know who I like more, either James Spader or Robert Downey Jr. Just because, I mean. So I mean, like I said, I just took all.
For which one?
Spader and Rob Lowe, Spader or Downey Jr. It's the only one I was kind of wishy-washy on because I think either one of them, because Spader, he's more.
Yeah, Downey Jr. is a little darker, and his brother really wasn't that dark.
Okay, and then did I tell you who I took out for Peaceways?
No.
Okay, this is the toughest one out of all of them, just because I did all of them.
You're telling me.
It was the toughest one out of all of them. I put Mickey Rourke in there.
No.
Why not?
I was thinking maybe Kurt Russell, actually.
Well,
He's cuter.
Kurt Russell crossed my mind. The only thing is that I went with Mickey Rourke. He's a little bit younger than Peaceways, but back in the 80s, he was a good-looking man, as Casey would always say.
Who?
Mickey Rourke.
He's not good looking?
In the 80s, he was before he boxed.
No.
Oh, okay, whatever.
I'll
Go
look
back and look at him in the 80s.
Okay.
And also, where it was is with the Kurt Russell, not to say that Kurt Russell was out of shape. Peaceways in the movie has his shirt off and he's cut. Mickey Rourke would have been in shape like that. So, again, I mean, I had Kurt Russell on the list because I think Pete Swayze was born in 52 and Kurt Russell's born in 51. But
yeah, Mickey Rourke was kind of cute in the 80s.
I mean, dude, he was a stud.
He reminds me of somebody.
Patrick Swayze without the talent. I mean, no.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all wouldn't know him.
Jesus, you wouldn't know him.
One of the guys from Vampire Diaries.
But yeah, that's
You're right. I wouldn't know him.
I know.
Tom Cruise's cousin,
Um,
the blue-eyed guy.
No, he looks like the teacher guy.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
I don't think we need to talk about the director because he's done so much famous shit, and this one is not even close to the top of the list.
I can't believe this movie cost $10 million
Yeah, that's pretty cheap, right?
for a 1983 movie where they don't do anything except
Actually, yeah, you're right. For 1983, it's not.
kind of shitty building and.
So I do want to talk about plot holes and comments. I've got a page here, so I'll let you guys go first. But Carter, you got some plot holes, some comments?
Yeah, okay, then the Matt Damon thing. I mean,
Matt Damon.
Matt Dillon, excuse me. Matt Damon. There's that when he, again, he does that.
Yeah, he goes nuts and goes to try, basically suicide by cop. I mean,
yeah, that was way dumb. The fact that Ponyboy kind of turns into a poet. He's reciting Robert Frost and shit, and it's like it just doesn't work for me the whole time. I mean, I don't know. The ending is bad. I mean, he reads the letter from the Gone with the Wind book, and
then his face is like in the
which was like bad TV movie kind of thing. And two other things real quick. I thought the end credits were even boring for this movie because the whole movie was boring to me. I mean, I watched them too because I was just like, yeah, this won't put me to sleep also. So some bad. It's a Stevie Wonder song, and it's just like, oh, Stevie. No, I can't believe you let him do this to you.
No, he actually wrote it for the movie, I think.
Huh?
I think he actually wrote it for the movie.
Well, that's good because it didn't need to be on an album. But at one point in time, I was thinking to myself, you know what? I'd have rather been watching the Muscle Beach Party movie that they were watching at the drive-in than this movie. That looked more fun than what I was watching. I was going to at least.
I was hoping it would be the Twister thing where the Twister comes in and rips the whole thing away.
And then we end up in an alternate dimension.
Or a T-Rex could come through.
Ooh, T-Rex.
Yeah.
And then the Outsiders. Okay, all right. But no, that's not it. Like, again, it's more gripes because I didn't want. I spent more of my time recasting it because that was more fun to me than sitting here thinking any more about this movie than who was in it, than what happened. So, what did you read?
Well, I just, as I was looking at stuff and, how I like to research what happens, during filming and stuff. So that's kind of what I did there. So apparently while they were filming, all the people that were the Socs, they were given their scripts in a leather bound, little thing. And all the greasers got just a paperback. And then they made them, the hotel that they stayed at, the people playing the Socs had the top floor, luxury. And then they made the greasers stay on the bottom floor. And then I didn't know this, and I thought this was interesting. The nurse at the end when, what's his name, Dallas? Is that his name? He's giving her a hard time. Yeah. She's like, where's your gown? Blah, blah, blah. That's actually the woman who wrote the book.
Oh, okay.
So that's interesting.
So Nurse Ratched was in there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about I blocked that out also when he's in the hospital bed. And he's like, geez. And he cut his hand with the knife? But I mean, he cut a little, enough to get a splinter out or something. It was Blood Brothers or something. I don't know. It was all bad. I mean, I guess that was the precursor to him losing it, but keep going. After you, sir. Let's go ahead with your page.
So, first things first. I'm going to talk about a couple cool things. Dally's Bar looks like a really fucking cool place to go. I want to go to that bar and just hang out for a little while. I don't understand why he lives upstairs. Again, Emilio and really just about everybody else, they all have switchblades and they are very, very ready to just stab a motherfucker. I don't get it. and all the stabbing that's going on, Johnny is cutting Ponyboy's hair, but his knife isn't really sharp enough to cut the hair. Sharpen the fucking knife if you're going to be stabbing people. He just killed someone with it,
Right.
But he can't cut hair.
Real quick on that. So how come the other boy didn't have to dye his hair?
That was the next thing up. I don't understand why they both didn't dye their hair.
Right.
But fuck you, Ponyboy. Johnny seems pretty fucking brave for a 14-year-old, considering not only he stabs someone, he's the one that's always like the solid rock when they're on their little adventures running away. And Ponyboy's he's just a bitch. Fucking Tom Cruise. I was really hoping that they would punch him a bit harder in the fight.
He won his fight, motherfucker.
I know, it's bullshit.
That's Tom's laugh.
I'm with you. I really don't understand Dally's whole go on a rampage thing over Johnny. I don't understand why. The whole setup of these two gangs just fighting each other in some gentlemanly manner. It's obviously a 60s movies because in the 2000s there's just been 17 drive-by shootings and all of them would have been dead.
Well, and then also there was rules hey, you can't do anything to the big fight. Well, that's right, we're gentlemen, and then no weapons.
And the one Soch guy picking up Ponyboy just to talk to him about how fucked up his life is, and I just needed somebody to talk to. You've got 87 Sochas, you could go figure out one of them is a real human. That's kind of it. I like this movie better than Stand By Me. I don't think it's on the list.
There's not a lot of competition there.
Huh?
There's not a lot of competition
it's a low bar. But it's not something I'm going to say you have to go see. It's interesting because of all the actors that are in it. Interesting to see them all in the early career. But I really wouldn't spend your time doing it. The only thing I would close this out with is there is one line of the movie that I didn't realize came from this movie, and it's "Stay Gold, Ponyboy." I've heard that a lot, which I just kind of surprised. But besides all that, if you could please like and subscribe to us, we do these things a lot.
Hold on, real quick with the I've never heard that "Stay Gold, Ponyboy."
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever heard that.
You haven't heard people say it, just "Stay Gold"?
I mean, I've heard "Stay Frosty." I don't know. Maybe I have. I don't know.
I've heard
The Ponyboy part, but also
not necessarily the Ponyboy part, but people saying "Stay Gold." I've heard people
just a few closing comments that are just not just plot for me, real quick, if you don't mind. I got a buddy of mine who this week when I told him both our movies, one was Stay By Me and this movie, he was like, "Oh, I'm so excited." Because again, I talked to somebody else earlier. There's a different guy about Stand By Me movie. He said he liked it.
Carter's friend, could you please watch it about 17 to 30 times?
Look, when I told him that we were doing The Outsiders, he sent me within seconds back as what he writes in the book at the beginning of the book, when I first stepped out into the sunlight or whatever. He sent me that whole sentence like that. And so that was like, did you have the worst taste in movies? This is the same guy though that
Is it Nathan?
Yes, it's Nathan. It's Nathan.
How could I guess?
This is what Friday night he came up to my work and he was like, "Name this movie." He fucked with the Royal Marine, and I was like, "What kind of question is that?" That's like just picking words out of a movie. I mean, I'm really good at figuring out what movie it is from. I did figure it out. It took me a second.
The movie The Marine?
No, that was John Cena. Not
Air?
Huh?
Con Air?
It is not Con Air because those would be too cool movies for Nathan to have seen. I told his wife, she was sitting there, I said, he has the worst taste in the movie. I said, watch it be something so stupid like this grown man at 40 years old is quoting an officer and a gentleman. And he was like, "It's not officer and a gentleman." Well, I said, "Well, I'm fucking surprised it's not." And after he said it again. I was like, "I mean, is it A Few Good Men?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "See, this here, name this movie. What are we having for dinner?" What fucking part of that? He doesn't get that if you're going to quote a movie, it has to be one of the main things of the movie.
Yeah, give me a little bit more context.
Yeah, you got. Okay, hey, life comes at you pretty fast. If you don't stop every now and again and look around, it might pass you by. mean, it's back to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He says it twice in the movie.
Or you can't handle the truth.
That part of the I would have known
There you go.
immediately that it's fucking Rob Reiner, directed by Jack Nicholson. But the other thing is about this movie is that I don't remember 100%, but I want to say this is one of the movies for some reason that we had to watch in school
Because it's a book?
because I guess it's I don't know. I want to say, but which makes it immediately lame because movies I recall watching in school like Chariots of Fire, Eat a Dick, it's so fucking boring. Stand and Deliver, Eat a Dick, even more boring.
Let me just say the books that you had to watch the movies for are radically different than the ones they made us watch.
We had to watch 12 Angry Men one time. I went to school in a different era, 12 Angry Men, which is
Where
not
the
bad.
Red Fern Grows.
We had to watch Last of the
I think we watched Last of the Mohicans.
Last of the Mohicans, that's probably the coolest
I said
one.
maybe. So that might actually be the one that got by.
We watched The Firm, which and we read the book and did the book report and all that. But we also did Where the Red Fern Grows. Where your heart gets ripped out.
Is it a dog movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this because you had to watch The Firm in school? Is this when your hatred of Tom Cruise happened?
I thought about that, but I didn't.
No, I really didn't like the movie. It was so far off from the book. I really enjoyed the book, and I was a little disappointed in the movie. But the Tom Cruise hatred it came later.
Oh, okay.
Well, The Firm was one of those ones they should now turn into a miniseries TV show, like 8 episodes.
Yeah, it would be a great 8-10 episode thing for sure.
But yeah, so I mean, and the only movie I could maybe recall actually watching at school that wasn't bad is for Christmas one year, like the last day we got to watch Turner and Hooch with Tom Hanks and of course Hooch, I believe was the dog's name. Which again, K9 with Jim Belushi, better than Turner and Hooch. I'm sorry.
So
anyway, side note, that's all for me for the day.
Okay,
so you can see us out.
Closing comments.
No, I don't think so. I think we've said it all.
Okay, we're closing then.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that in there before we got out.
Thanks again for joining us today. We'll have some more next week, hopefully. Check us out on YouTube. Turns out we're becoming a little bit famous on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're over 300 listens. So
We're becoming famous in Germany.
yeah, we've got some listeners from Germany. So thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks
All right.
Germany, Wisconsin. There's
a large talk that we had earlier about maybe doing some Hasselhoff movies just for the German people. If we could be a little bit more racist, it would be great.
I just might just eat some Wiener Schnitzel and drink beer while we
Sauerkraut sandwich.
I don't know if the Hasselhoff's got any good movies. Oh, he was Captain America one time in a very bad movie.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, I think so. No, he was Nick Fury. That's what it was.
Anyway, thank you for joining us. Until next time, stay gold, Pony Boy.
Oh, Lord Jesus.